A gunshot doesn't sound like that. A car doesn't explode like that. I'm a proboscis monkey. I'll debunk 40 lies Hollywood sold you as truth. Your favorite director lied. Your favorite actor too. Let's begin. Titanic, 1997. Jack floats in freezing water holding a door where Rose lies. He tells her, "Never let go," and dies of hypothermia. The most debated death on the internet. Could both fit? 25 years of debate until James Cameron himself decided to close the topic. In 2022, for National Geographic, he took 2 body doubles with the exact weight of DiCaprio and Winslet, attached sensors, dropped them into the freezing water. Test 1, both on the door like in the film. Hypothermia, they die. Test 2, both flat, torso out of the water. Jack lasts for hours. Test 3, Rose gives Jack her life vest. His body stabilizes. He could have made it to the boat, Cameron admitted. Cameron accepted it, but said Jack had to die. Love is measured by the sacrifice. Jack didn't die from physics. He died from the script. Green code falling down the screen. 3D windows opening on their own. 40 seconds of frantic typing and the hacker shouts, "I'm in." You saw it in Jurassic Park, Swordfish, Hackers, NCIS. In reality, none of that happens. And nobody tells you. Real hacking is boring, silent work, reading documentation, sending phishing emails, waiting for responses, testing vulnerabilities from a plain black and white terminal. A serious intrusion into a professional system takes days, weeks, or months, not half a minute. And how do they really get in? Through the people. Most hacks start with phishing. A fake email, you click, done. That's how Sony, Yahoo, Twitter, the Bank of Bangladesh fell. No hacker typing at 200 characters per second to electronic music. Real hacking is invisible. Nothing blinks, no one yells. The cloth over the mouth. 3 seconds of struggle. Falls asleep. The villain loads him into the trunk. Lie. And chemistry debunks it without effort. Real chloroform needs several minutes of continuous inhalation to knock you out. Enough time for any victim to break free, and before sleep, the chemical causes dizziness, agitation, and disorientation. The victim fights more, not less. Plus, it's volatile. It evaporates as soon as it touches the air. The villain, waiting half an hour in the shadows with the ready cloth, is holding a dry rag. Hollywood cuts the scene before reality has time to arrive. The hero shoulders the window, flies in slow motion through 1,000 shining shards, lands on the other side and keeps running. Not a single cut. Actors don't crash through real glass. They crash through sugar glass. Sugar, corn syrup and water cooked at 150 degrees to the hard crack point. It breaks just as spectacularly, but in blunt pieces, no edges. For large windows, they use tempered glass, which is real, but breaks into small, relatively harmless cubes. And even with all that, trained stuntmen cut themselves. The industry reports stitches, sutures, and scars as routine. You against your house window? Regular glass breaks into sharp blades like knives. The whole saga lies with one single trick. TIE fighters whistling, the Death Star exploding with a boom, lightsabers buzzing, blasts that vibrate. Out in space, no one would hear any of that. Physically impossible. Sound needs a medium to travel. Air, water, metal. In a vacuum, no medium. A spaceship exploding in front of you would be total silence. 2008, Indiana Jones 4 premieres. 2 days later, the internet invents the phrase "nuking the fridge," synonym for the exact moment when a saga self-destructs. And the scene to blame? Indy climbs into a lead fridge, survives a nuclear blast, and rolls out unharmed. A triple physics lie. First, the shockwave. Hundreds of atmospheres of pressure at the epicenter. The fridge gets crushed like a soda can with Indy inside. Second, the heat. Millions of degrees at ground zero. Lead melts at 327 degrees Celsius. The fridge vaporizes before it even starts to fly through the air. Third, the impact. Flying kilometers and bouncing off the ground destroys everything. The human body can't take more than 50 Gs for milliseconds. Nuclear physicist Greg Spriggs rated the scene. 3 out of 10. Impossible the man could survive in the fridge. Jurassic Park, 1993. Dr. Grant whispers to the kids in front of the T-Rex, "Don't move. He can't see you if you don't move." The dinosaur roars right in their faces and doesn't spot them. Kent Stevens from the University of Oregon started a study to verify it. Results published 13 years later. Conclusion: the T-Rex had a 55-degree binocular field, wider than a modern eagle. its eyes faced forward, designed to detect static or camouflaged prey. If it sees you standing still, it sees you and then eats you. The real T-Rex hunted with sight, smell, and hearing. If you have it in your face, you're dead. Hollywood has spent 40 years showing you the same impossible scene. The hero runs. Everything explodes behind, reaches cover just in time. Bond walks while a building blows up. Tom Cruise dives in slow-mo. Will Smith escapes through a tunnel. Physics kills all three. The shockwave from any explosion travels at more than 1,235 kilometers per hour, supersonic by definition. Usain Bolt peaks at 44 kilometers per hour, almost 30 times slower than that. To escape it, you'd have to be faster than a commercial airplane. Physically impossible. The trick? Slow motion. The explosive detonates. The actor runs, and slow motion stretches the milliseconds until it looks like ground gained. In real time, that scene is 3 frames, and the actor is already pulverized. A 2-kilo TNT bomb has a minimum safe radius of 360 meters. The wave gets there in 1 second. If you're closer than that, you don't run, you fly. Adventure movie cliché since the 1950s. The hero bites his partner's leg, sucks, spits out the venom, the other one gets up. True Grit from 1969, westerns, Tarzan, snakes on a plane. Gross medical lie. Doesn't work. It kills. The venom enters the bloodstream and the lymphatic system within seconds. Sucking 5 minutes later extracts less than 1%, while putting bacteria from your own mouth into the open wound. And the swallowed venom poisons you through the gums. Suction contraindicated. Zero effectiveness. High risk of infection. Real protocol. Immobilize the limb, keep it below the heart, call emergency. Anti-venom serum. Critical window. 4 to 6 hours. United States, 7,500 venomous bites a year, 5 deaths on average. Almost all the deaths happen when the patient wasted time with movie methods, suction, tourniquet, or cutting. The movie trick doesn't save, it kills by delay. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Mia Wallace passes out from a severe overdose. Vincent grabs a giant syringe, marks the chest spot with a marker, stabs the needle straight into the heart. Mia wakes up instantly with a scream. 3 medical errors in a chain. The drug. An overdose of that type isn't reversed with adrenaline, but with a specific antagonist. Adrenaline restarts a stopped heart. It doesn't reverse that type of drug. The route. The intracardiac injection has hardly been used in decades. The risk is sky high. Today, it's treated with specific medication administered by medical personnel, never with a syringe to the heart. The time. The real antidote takes between 30 seconds and 2 minutes to work. The person wakes up slow, confused, and dizzy, not sitting up with shining eyes. Tarantino chose the lie because truth isn't cinema. A nasal spray that wakes someone up gradually doesn't make a memorable scene. A syringe to the chest, yes. Every action movie, a quick burst, orange fireball, the helicopter explodes in the air. Exaggerated physics lie. Helicopters can in fact be downed by small arms. In Vietnam, Iraq and Afghanistan, many fell to AK-47s. But falling and exploding into an instant fireball are different things. Helicopters don't explode in the air. They lose control, disintegrate against the ground, or land smoking. To detonate more than 1,000 liters of fuel and all the ammunition at the same time takes much more than a stray bullet. Modern military helicopters have armor and redundant parts. There are documented cases of aircraft that withstood significant hits and kept flying. Not invulnerable, but not rockets waiting to explode either. The Rambo shoots. Helicopter blows up in the sky. Doesn't exist. The helicopter falls, breaks apart, and only then can it burn. Magazines that fire 100 rounds, 15-round pistols that shoot off 30, automatic rifles that spit out endless bursts without pause. Every single action movie lies with the same trick. The real numbers are limited. A standard pistol holds between 6 and 17 rounds. A typical assault rifle, 30 rounds. Once it's empty, you have to reload. New magazine, 2 hands, a few seconds. On automatic, the numbers collapse fast. A whole magazine empties in seconds, not minutes. The movies where the hero shoots for 30 minutes without reloading violate the simplest physics, counting. In a real shootout, the ammo runs out fast and kills good people through carelessness. In Hollywood, ammo is pure magic. 2 movies. Gladiator, 2000. Spartacus, 1960. every sword and sandal epic. The emperor looks at the fallen gladiator, raises the thumb, the crowd roars. Gross historical lie. The Romans didn't actually use those gestures. The Latin sources mention pollis verso, meaning turned thumb, but never specify direction. Modern studies suggest the opposite of the cliché. To ask for death, the thumb went up or extended outward, mimicking the drawing of a sword. To ask for mercy, the thumb hid inside the fist, like a sheathed sword. Where does the cliché come from? From a French painting. In 1872, Jean-Léon Gérôme painted Pollis verso, crowds pointing thumbs down asking for death. They showed it to Ridley Scott before he filmed Gladiator. "That image spoke to me about the Roman Empire," he said. A 19th century invention became the official history of cinema. The Matrix, 1999. On the rooftop of a building, Neo leans backward in slow motion and the bullets pass within centimeters of his face. An iconic scene, a direct physical impossibility. Bullets travel at between 340 and 1,000 meters per second, faster than the speed of sound. The bullet reaches you before you can hear the shot. The fastest possible human reflex is 150 milliseconds, the time between the brain detecting something and a muscle starting to move. In those 150 milliseconds, an average bullet has already traveled 55 meters. At point blank, it's already gone through you. Dun dun, dun dun. Two notes by John Williams generated the most widespread fear of the 20th century. Jaws, 1975. Spielberg, a great white devours swimmers on a coast. Massive hunts, generations not entering the ocean. Biological lie, great whites don't hunt humans. We're bony, no fat, no caloric value. A seal gives more energy than a swimmer of the same weight. Our silhouette only looks like a seal from below, floating on the surface, especially surfers on boards. The attacks are confusion. Test bite, not food, release. International Shark Attack File, 2024. 47 unprovoked attacks across the entire world, 4 fatal. Among the lowest numbers in decades. Global probability of dying from a shark attack, 1 in 28 million. Cows kill 22 people every year in the United States. Selfies kill 40 worldwide. Vending machines do too. Peter Benchley, author of the novel, confessed in 2006, "The man-eating shark doesn't exist. We're too thin and unappetizing." Spielberg, 2022, on BBC. "I deeply regret the decimation of sharks caused by the book and the film." The fear was created by John Williams, not the ocean. Speed, 1994. Keanu Reeves tries saving a bus with a bomb that detonates below 80 kilometers per hour. They reach a 15-meter gap in the highway. At 113 kilometers per hour, they jump, land clean on the other side, and they keep going. Triple physics lie. Mythbusters tested it twice. Scale model 1/12. The miniature bus fell into the void. A real remote-controlled bus on an airfield didn't even hit the film's 113 kilometers per hour, barely 93. Even shrinking the gap didn't make it. Physics is brutal. At 113 kilometers per hour on flat highway, the bus drops 1.2 meters before crossing 15 meters of air. It smashes the nose against the edge of the other side. The only way to save the scene, a hidden ramp tilted upward at the launch point. In the film, there's none. And if by some miracle it jumped, on landing, the chassis would break. A 12-ton urban bus falling from 2 meters doesn't take the hit. Keep him talking, boss. Just need 60 more seconds. NCIS. Bourne. Any film with a kidnapper and a detective. Tech lie obsolete for decades. The cliché had a real basis. In the 60s and 70s, switchboards were electromechanical. Tracing a call meant following physical circuits, exchange by exchange, 10 to 20 minutes. The 60 seconds was the time to reach the first switch. That died in the 80s. Electronic switching made tracing instantaneous. The digital exchange knows where every call comes from the moment it's routed, because it has to know in order to connect it. If the exchange doesn't know the origin, the call doesn't exist. Today, a landline call gets traced in less than a single second. A cell phone call gets triangulated in a few seconds via GPS and cell towers. The FCC requires carriers to locate 911 calls within 30 seconds maximum. The 60 seconds is technical nostalgia from the 70s that cinema keeps using. Why do they insist? Because without the clock ticking, there's no tension. Imagine all your nerves firing at once. You can't move, but you stay fully conscious. That's a real taser. In Hollywood, the taser knocks you out for minutes. Electrical lie. The taser doesn't produce unconsciousness. What it produces is NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation. The electrodes stuck in the skin send pulses that mimic the signals of the nervous system, overloading the communication between the brain and muscles. Your muscles all contract at once, no control. The standard cycle lasts 5 seconds. The subject falls down rigid and can't move at all, but keeps seeing, hearing, feeling intense pain, and remembers everything afterwards. The discharge ends. Control returns in seconds. The subject can get up, run, attack. That's why police protocols require handcuffing the subject in those few critical seconds. Real numbers: 50,000 volts but only 2 milliamps of current. The taser that turns you off like a switch cliché doesn't exist. The taser drops you to the floor. Unconsciousness is a cinema invention. A drop of sweat threatens to fall. If it touches the floor, it triggers the alarm. Tom Cruise, suspended from the ceiling, catches it centimeters from the ground. Mission Impossible, 1996. The most secure CIA vault with weight, sound, and temperature sensors. No real security system detects a single drop. Pressure sensors start at the kilos, not grams. The thermal ones detect people, not fluctuations of 1 degree. The acoustic ones trigger on sustained sounds, not on a sigh. The real security of classified data goes a different way. Encryption, multi-factor authentication, tiered access, isolated networks. A NOC list would never be on a single computer in a magic vault. Where does the idea come from? From Top Copy, a heist film from 1964 by Jules Dassin, where some thieves rappel down from the ceiling of a museum avoiding alarms. Brian De Palma copied the structure and added 90s technology. The secret room at Langley doesn't exist. The sweat sensor doesn't either, but the scene does. 30 years making the whole world believe the CIA protects its secrets with magic. If you got here, what's coming hurts. 3 impossible myths in a row. We start with one you've seen 1,000 times. You saw John Wick empty a magazine in a nightclub and no one ran. Chigger execute people in a motel without waking the hallway. Just an elegant pfft, like blowing a kiss. Lie. A bare shot sounds at 165 decibels. You add a silencer and it drops to 130. That's still as loud as a jet taking off or a jackhammer running. The difference is between catastrophic damage and just severe damage, not between hearing and not hearing. Proof? Search any real shot with silencer recorded on YouTube and it sounds like a thick firecracker, not a pfft. Hiram Percy Maxim in 1909 named it Silencer and sold the idea it silenced. Was marketing, not physics. In reality, it reduces sound, doesn't eliminate it. Anyone next to it hears it anyway. Charge 360, clear. The patient in flatline, that flat line on the cardiac monitor. They apply the paddles, the body jumps, the line returns, life returns. A defibrillator doesn't start a stopped heart. It only works when the heart is still electrically active but uncontrolled, trembles instead of beating. The shock cuts the chaos, so the natural pacemaker resumes the rhythm. The flatline is the opposite, zero electrical activity. The heart is switched off. There's nothing to reorder. There, the defibrillator is useless. The real treatment is continuous cardiac massage plus adrenaline. The scene where someone in flatline gets a shock and opens their eyes doesn't exist. Dangerous fiction makes people believe that cardiac arrest gets fixed with a button. Hancock, Skyfall, Mission Impossible Fallout. Hero jumps from a skyscraper, falls into a river, emerges coughing but unharmed. Starting at 50 meters, the 16th floor, water stops behaving like water. It's incompressible. At high speed, it doesn't have time to move out. You brake against a solid surface. From 67 meters, the height of a large bridge, the forensic data is brutal. Less than 2% survive. And those who do survive entered feet first, perfectly vertical. The forensic studies describe the real result: massive internal injuries to lungs, ribs and organs. Falling into water from 75 meters and falling onto pavement produces the same impact. The only difference, the pavement doesn't swallow you. Shirtless, no armor. Red cape, sandals, abs like chocolate bars. The 300 Spartans by Zack Snyder, released in the year 2007. Anatomical, historical lie. The real Spartan was a walking fortress. He carried a bronze chest plate of 5 to 8 kilos, a kilt of leather strips, bronze greaves, a Corinthian helmet covering almost all of the face, a round shield of 8 kilos, full armor. Fighting bare-chested in phalanx formation against Persian archers is certain death. And the model body? Impossible with the Spartan diet. They ate mihech las zomos, the black soup. Pork blood, vinegar, boiled meat and salt. Plutarch tells of a foreigner who tasted the soup and said, "Now I understand why the Spartans don't fear death. They were strong and resilient, but chunky, not shredded." Enhance. Detective points at the grainy photo, the tech types, and the killer's face appears reflected in the iris from an eye with 4 pixels. You saw it in Blade Runner, CSI, Enemy of the State, Bourne. Mathematically impossible. You can't extract data that doesn't exist in the pixels. Information theory, formulated by Claude Shannon in 1948, forbids it. A message contains exactly what fits in its bits. If it were possible, you'd take a photo of the sky and zoom in until seeing the surface of Pluto. And the AI that does upscaling? Doesn't reveal invents. Hollywood needs the hero to find the killer. In real life, that grainy image just stays grainy. And the case goes cold. Independence Day, 1996. Jeff Goldblum, with an Apple PowerBook 5300, uploads a virus to the alien mothership. They lose the shields. Humanity wins the war. An absolute computing lie. To write a virus on any system you need to know, its architecture, language, operating system, protocols, data format. Goldblum has none of that. Alien technology is thousands of years more advanced than the human one. It's like expecting an ant to write a program for an iPhone. It's not difficult, it's absurd. And how does a 1995 Mac with 8 megabytes of RAM connect to an alien ship? No clear explanation, says the script. No authentication. And the aliens, capable of interstellar travel, have no firewall. Catherine Zeta-Jones contorting between red laser beams like an Olympic gymnast. Entrapment, 1999. The same scene in Ocean's 12, Resident Evil, Now You See Me, and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Basic optical lie. Laser beams aren't visible in the air. For you to see a laser beam, you need particles like smoke, dust, or fog that scatter the light toward your eyes. In a clean room, 100% invisible. Real museums and vaults don't use visible red lasers, they use invisible infrared sensors. Infrared light is outside the human spectrum. You don't see it, can't dodge it. If you had a visible laser crossing a room, the power needed at that distance would damage your retina if looked at directly. No museum exposes visitors to that. Mythbusters tested it. No security manufacturer sells visible lasers. They simply don't exist as a product. The industry uses PIR, passive infrared, microwave, pressure sensors, and ultrasound. The movie scene is filmed by spraying a smoke machine on the set so that the lasers can be seen. Without the cloud, they're invisible dots between 2 walls. The visible laser is theater. The real sensor doesn't applaud. A kick next to the doorknob, door flying, hero inside in seconds. John Wick, Bad Boys. Biomechanical lie. An office door with a standard lock requires between 700 and 900 newtons to defeat the bolt. An average adult delivering a standing front kick generates half. Only a trained karateka with technique and maximum speed reaches the threshold. A security door with reinforced frame, impossible by a kick. The real technique is the mule kick. Back to the door, leg high, strike backward with the sole of the foot. You aim at the wood next to the bolt, never at the metal of the doorknob. You twist your ankle on the spot. That's why SWAT police don't kick. They use a portable ram of 13 to 25 kilos. The weight adds to the officer's own momentum. 2 or 3 hits and the lock gives way. There are modern rams operated by a single person, effortlessly. If you kick the doorknob like in the movies, the most likely outcome: broken ankle, door intact, and whoever's inside had time to hide whatever they want. Hollywood taught you to fear quicksand more than a lion. The lion kills you. The quicksand simply can't do that. Indiana Jones, Tarzan, Lawrence of Arabia. The character steps in, sinks, and just disappears. Quicksand weighs double what your body weighs, 2 grams per milliliter against your 1. You end up at the waist, max the chest, and float. Impossible to sink all the way. Daniel Bohn, physicist at the University of Amsterdam, demonstrated it in 2005. He brought samples from Lake Namak in Iran, recreated them in lab, and tried sinking spheres of human density. None sank. The real danger isn't sinking. It's the tide if you're on the coast, the sun, dehydration. And pulling out a trapped leg, it requires the force of lifting a small car. Never let them pull you hard, they'll break you in two. The quicksand is just a trap, not a grave. 2.5 minutes. That's how long the opening of Forrest Gump lasts. A white feather falling from the sky, crossing savannah, landing on Tom Hanks's shoe. 1994. Pure physics lie. A real feather falls following chaotic turbulence. Unpredictable zigzag, far less elegant. The screen feather is fully manipulated, part CGI drawn frame by frame, part real feather filmed with invisible wire against a blue background. All digitally composited by industrial light and magic following a planned choreography. When Forrest picks it up from the floor, a real feather glued to Tom Hanks's shoe, digitally painted out so it wouldn't show during the sequence. At the end, ILM animators stopped erasing it, and it appeared synchronized to the millimeter with the descending CGI ILM, the same studio behind the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Early CGI, slow, expensive, won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects 1995. The destiny that looks like poetry is binary code and frame-by-frame work. The feather of chance is the most controlled thing in the film. The Hubble is 130 kilometers higher than the ISS and orbits on a different plane. Sandra Bullock crosses between the three stations with homemade propulsion. Clooney's backpack first, then a fire extinguisher after. Gravity, 2013. Alfonso Cuarón won 7 Oscars. Orbital lie. The space stations aren't one beside the other. The ISS orbits at 408 kilometers. The Hubble at 540 kilometers, the Tiangong at 340 to 380 kilometers. And the problem isn't just the distance, they orbit at different inclinations. The ISS at 51.65 degrees, the Hubble at 28.5 degrees. Different orbital planes, speeds and directions. Jumping from one to the other requires a rocket with fuel for months on end, not a fire extinguisher. More, everything in orbit moves at 28,000 kilometers per hour. Meeting another station in a different plane is exactly like crossing 2 stray bullets and catching one with your hand. Neil deGrasse Tyson destroyed it on Twitter on October 6, 2013. One complaint: how the Hubble at 350 miles, the ISS at 230 miles, and a Chinese space station are all in line of sight of each other. Cuarón responded, "It's not a documentary, it is a piece of fiction." The cinema spaceship ignores the orbit. For the effect, for the Oscar, 8 left. And the last one will make you laugh. John McClane crawling through the ducts of the Nakatomi Plaza with the lighter in his mouth. Die Hard, 1988. Mission Impossible. Alien. Predator. Cliché repeats because it seems logical. Architectural lie. The real office ducts measure 15 to 30 centimeters in diameter. An adult doesn't fit. The big industrial ones reach 60 to 100 centimeters, but only the main runs. In a few meters they narrow, they fork, they fill with elbows, internal fans and grills. Weight? The sheet metal holds only its own structure, not a person. You get in, the section collapses, you fall onto the ceiling below. The straps aren't designed for 80 kilos crawling. Stealth? Impossible. The sheet metal amplifies every single movement like a drum. Add insulating fiberglass, industrial dust, and sharp edges of galvanized sheet metal. SWAT police never enter through ducts, a serious operational error. Bruce Willis didn't do it either. They filmed it on sets built to the actors' measurements. The hero fights, swims, shoots and punches underwater for minutes. Comes out coughing but whole. Hard physiological lie. Under intense physical effort, the oxygen burns up to 10 times faster than it does at rest. Every movement empties your reserves. The real numbers. An average human holds 30 to 60 seconds without breathing at rest. Fighting, 15 seconds maximum. In panic, less. Even the Olympic synchronized swimmers, trained their whole lives in apnea with effort, hold their breath 7 seconds on average. The maximum recorded 39 seconds. And that's pure choreography, not combat. And the world apnea record? 24 minutes, 37 seconds by Budimir Šobat, Croatia, 2021. But it requires breathing pure oxygen for 30 minutes before, lying face down without moving, and dropping the pulse to less than 30 beats per minute. The fighting record, 0. Nobody tries because nobody wants to die. Armageddon, 1998. Bruce Willis leads oil workers who land on an asteroid the size of Texas, drill 244 meters, plant a nuclear bomb, and split it in two. NASA literally uses this film in its training programs, asks all the applicants to find the 168 confirmed scientific errors. 4 big ones. 1. Real astronaut training takes a minimum of 2 years. Bruce Willis and his team, 12 days. 2. The most dangerous asteroid we know of measures 7 kilometers. The Armageddon one is the size of Texas. The one that killed the dinosaurs was 150 times smaller than that. 3. To split it with a nuke, you'd need thousands of times the planet's nuclear arsenal. 4. Even split, the two pieces keep coming toward the Earth. Dividing the asteroid only distributes the impact. And NASA's real strategy? Deflect it. In 2022, they tested it. The DART probe crashed into a small asteroid and shifted its orbit by 32 minutes. No oil workers, no bombs, just one push. Mel Gibson in a kilt with his face painted blue, screaming "Freedom" in 1297. Premiered in 1995, Braveheart, 5 Oscars the following year, visual identity of all Scotland. 3 historical lies in one. Lie 1. The kilt. The belted kilt doesn't exist in 1297. It appears only in the 16th century, 300 years after Wallace's death. And Wallace was from the Lowlands, not a Highlander. He wore trews, that is to say, trousers, not skirts. It's basically like filming Napoleon wearing jeans. Lie 2. The blue paint. It belongs to the Picts, a Celtic culture that painted their faces with woad ink to scare off the Romans. That happened between the 1st and 9th centuries, 1,000 years before Wallace's time. The practice was already extinct when he fought. It's like a World War II soldier going into combat with medieval armor. Lie 3. The final freedom, the epic line that Wallace screams before dying, "They can take our lives, but never our freedom," doesn't exist in any historical source. It's an invention of screenwriter Randall Wallace. And freedom, as modern political concept, didn't exist in the 13th century. The real Wallace was minor nobility, educated, spoke Latin. The image we have in our heads was invented by Mel Gibson, 1995. Bourne forgets who he is but speaks 6 languages and kills with bare hands. Drew Barrymore wakes without memories but perfectly groomed. Hollywood reversed real patterns. Screen. You forget who you are but recall how to do everything. In reality, you know who you are but can't form new memories. The opposite. Sally Baxendale tore it apart in the BMJ in 2004. Most of the amnesias in cinema have no relation to reality. Real case. Clive Wearing, British musician, remembers 7 seconds. Knows perfectly that he's Clive and who he loves. The amnesia that erases every night like in 50 First Dates? A single medical case in all the literature. A patient identified as FL, described by Smith and Squire in 2010. Conclusion. Psychogenic syndrome, influenced by the film. Drew Barrymore is her favorite actress. Hollywood invented a disease, and real life imitated it. Every Viking film out there. Hagar the Horrible, How to Train Your Dragon, the mascot of the Minnesota Vikings, 0. That's the number of horned Viking helmets found in all of archaeology. In 200 years of digs in Scandinavia, England, Iceland, not a single one has appeared. The only complete Viking helmet known was unearthed in 1943 in Jær Mundbu, Norway. 10th century, rounded iron, eye and nose protector, perfectly smooth, no horns. Where does the image come from? From an opera. In 1876, at the premiere of The Ring of the Nibelung by Richard Wagner in Bayreuth, the costume designer Carl Emil Doppler put horns on the Vikings to make them visually more striking. The opera was a huge success. The image went viral. Painters, Kipling's school books, eventually Hollywood, all copied the cliché. In combat, the horns would be counterproductive. An enemy could grab them, unbalancing the head and exposing the neck. The Vikings weren't fools. The real Vikings lived between the 8th and 11th centuries. The horned helmet was invented 1,000 years later by a German designer in an opera. A gloved hand pulls a preserved mosquito out of a fragment of amber 66 million years old. They drill it, extract dinosaur DNA, resurrect the Tyrannosaurus rex. Jurassic Park, 3 Oscars, gross biological lie. DNA doesn't last forever. It breaks down on its own, like an old tape that fades with the passage of time. Science measured at what speed this happens. After 1.5 million years, there's nothing readable left. After 7 million, not even when frozen, the dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago, 10 times longer than what DNA can hold up to. There's nothing left to clone. 0. The study that closed the debate was done by Morten Allentoft from the University of Copenhagen and Michael Bunce in Australia. They analysed 158 moa bones, a giant bird from New Zealand. Allentoff's conclusion? This is the last nail in the coffin for cloning dinosaurs. And the trick of filling in the gaps with frog DNA, like they do in the movie. Frogs and T-Rex are separated by 340 million years of evolution. It's like completing the Bible with random words pulled from a yoga manual. Spielberg knew the premise was always a metaphor for human excess, not real biology. Every morning scene in romantic cinema since 1950. Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, Jennifer Aniston in Friends, Margot Robbie, Anne Hathaway, heroines who wake with intact mascara, painted lips, hair with volume and fresh breath. Gross cosmetic and biological lie. While you sleep, you barely produce saliva. Without saliva, the bacteria in your mouth multiply and release sulfur-smelling compounds. That's morning breath. Almost every adult on the planet has it. The makeup also falls apart. The mascara runs and leaves you with raccoon-style black eyes. The lipstick stays stamped on the pillow. The foundation mixes with the skin's natural oils. The hair gets flattened after 8 hours pressed down. And since you were lying down all night, fluid pools in your face, swollen eyelids, pillow marks, that's what's normal. What Pretty Woman shows is a makeup artist working an hour and a half before the first take. 40 Hollywood lies dismantled. Hit like, subscribe to Lielab, tell me in the comments which hurt the most. The next list is already loading.